This week, Township resident Joseph Henry, president of the East Brunswick Commission on Aging for 12 years, was remembered with the dedication of an addition to the Senior Center in his name. Welcome to This Week in East Brunswick. Tonight, we'll cover the opening of the addition and hear from Cynthia Schaechter in her new capacity as Director of the Department on Aging. Dolly Vasta brings another arts update from Playhouse 22. Pegi Ballister House offers advice on how to prolong the tomato growing season. And we'll take a look at this week's Township Council meeting. This and more tonight, but first, here's a look at programming next week on Channel 8. Lenore Kulik opens the week with top-to-bottom toning on Look Great, Feel Great. That's Monday morning at 10. At 10:30, children's librarian Susan Polber reads Stories for a Rainy Day on Stories from the Library. The City of Beverly Hills presents In Print Tuesday night at 7. Sports Talk follows at 7:30 with an interview with Dom Forker, author of Men of Autumn. This month on For Art's Sake, Dolly Vasta makes some inquiries into poetic inspiration at the Waterloo Poetry Festival, sponsored by the Geraldine R. Dodge Foundation. For the answers and some readings, tune in Wednesday night at 7:30. And at 8 o'clock, the Arts looks at a juried art exhibit at the Barron Arts Center and at two exhibits now at the Zimmerly Art Museum. That's here on Channel 8 at 8 o'clock on Wednesday night. This Week in East Brunswick returns Thursday night at 7 and 8 with local news and information. And at 7:30 Thursday night, Outreach Coordinator for the Office on Aging, Patty Sullivan, visits the COPSA Institute in Piscataway for a look at their program for victims of Alzheimer's disease. Watch the Community Bulletin Board for recasts of the week's shows and for announcements of local events. Earlier this week, members of the community gathered to dedicate a new smoking lounge at the Senior Center to the memory of Joseph Henry. Cynthia Schaechter talked about the funding for the addition.
The bottom line of everything is money, and the money for this came from Community Development Block Grant funding. It was managed by Betty Richter of our Planning Department and provided by the Department of Housing and Community Development of the county. Do we have any representatives? Well, we don't apparently, but we thank them, and we also thank our mayor and our council because they approved the funding for this, and it's going to give a new dimension to our programming here at the center. The bridge players in particular are bursting out at the seams, and we need as many tables as we can for their games. When Joe walked into this building, everything lit up for us, and that will always be with us. We will remember him every single day. We don't need a plaque or anything else, just his shining spirit, which was such a motivating factor in everything that we've done here today.
We're here for two reasons today. One, certainly to cut a ribbon on this edition that I think we all agree has come out better than we anticipated. It's actually very attractive, and I think it'll get great use here. And the other is to honor a person who has had a profound effect both on your lives, but on the Township of East Brunswick. And it is truly just that we honor him today. In addition to the things that you know, Joe Henry was the founding member of the Recreations and Parks Advisory Board, which not only has had an effect on your lives, but on my children's life, on making this a better community and for parks and recreation for all the residents of East Brunswick. He certainly was the president of the Commission on Aging from 1977 to 1990. He was on the Senior Citizens Center Citizens Building Committee from 1982 to 1984. And basically that's why we have this building and we're all standing here. An active volunteer in the senior programs from 1976 to 1990. Of course, Joe was a resident of the town for 37 years, a member of East Brunswick Lions Club, and a member of the East Brunswick High School Athletic Club. Joe dedicated his life to everyone in East Brunswick, and I think it's appropriate that I present this plaque to his wife, and that we will attach it to the building at some future time.
I can't really see it without. Yes,
Okay.
I can.
Dedicated with love, in memory of Joseph A. Henry, President, East Brunswick Commission on Aging, 1978 to 1990.
Hi, I'm I'm Dolly Vasta with your Playhouse 22 Arts Update. And I have here with me an old friend, and I know it
Very
has...
old.
Yes, no, we're the same age. It says hair across here. That means
Doesn't
it's
say
hair.
anything here.
But we're up at the Playhouse, and Elliot is directing Hair, and Hair opens this week, October 5th, Friday night, right?
Right, I should be directing Bald, but...
But next show.
Right.
And this runs Friday, Saturday night, Sunday matinees through October 28th, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct.
And it really, you brought the 60s back to us again.
Oh, yeah.
I thought I had gotten rid of them when my kids got married. No, huh?
But most people have assumed that we updated the show, and I said, absolutely not. This is a show that really is of the 60s. It must remain in the 60s, and we're doing it as a slice of life, as if it were happening now. And one of the nice things about this particular show, it deals with such, well, I guess it's not nice, because it's terrible. We still have the issues, but it deals with such terrible things. The same issues of still racial hatred and inequalities and pollution and what we're doing to the earth and the world. It deals with war, and we're on the brink again, and and it deals with love. Hey, isn't it time that we stopped hating each other, that we started to love each other and care about each other? And so that whether it's the 60s or the 90s, I don't think it makes any difference.
The message is the same.
Yeah, and the music is gorgeous. And for an old man like me,
Yes, you are getting older.
Yeah, I know. But it's just fun. It's really, I didn't realize when we started to plan this that we would be in sort of a nostalgic bit. And I go into the stores now and I see them selling tie-dye shirts and all kinds of things. And there's just that feeling of the 60s. People want to experience a little bit of the love, power generation. And I don't know if you can see any of the work behind me, but
it's neat.
Yeah.
I love this set.
Yeah, the graffiti, and it's just a lot of fun. It really is.
All right. Well, you know what? We're going to take a look at one of the numbers in the show. Okay.
Oh, there's so many good ones.
That's right. And Elliot and I will both see you here this weekend.
Right. Oh.
So don't forget, call the box office 254-3939 for tickets, and we'll see you at Hair.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes.
Yeah. I've been around so long. I really have directed over 200 productions. This is one of the most enjoyable ones that I've ever had. I love it. We just have such a good time. Please come. You'll have a good time. I mean it.
Bring your love beads. Do you still have your love beads?
I'm afraid not.
See ya.
Last month, the Township Council authorized a change in services for seniors. The Office on Aging, a division of the Department of Recreation and Community Services, became the Department of Aging, a separate entity responsible directly to Township administration. Cynthia Schaechter, recently promoted from divisional manager to department director, explained how the idea to make the change arose.
This notion has surfaced periodically for a number of years, and we haven't heard, it hasn't gone beyond just a suggestion or a thought. But some months ago, Mayor Jack Sinagra asked for a meeting with the Commission on Aging and with the Senior Center Advisory Committee. Both of these boards are very active in the operation of the program. There are 15 members of the Senior Center Advisory Committee. Chairman is Ed Caith, and they are elected by their peers. The Commission on Aging, presided over by Arlene Levy, is a group of professionals and senior citizens appointed by the mayor. Mayor wanted to hear from them what their dreams and hopes and wishes were for the program and for the future. And over the course of the evening, a number of things were discussed, and one of them was the establishment of a separate department on aging for the township. And the mayor said he would look into this and pursue it, and subsequently the council and the mayor came to an agreement to present this and approve it.
You've been here 14 years now
Yes.
with the township. What were your goals and how have you realized them?
I came 14 years ago with sort of a mission, a twofold mission. One was to make the senior citizens program as good as it could be and as responsive as it could be to the needs of the constituency. Program that doesn't make things up for itself, but really follows the needs and the desires that arise out of the constituency which it serves. Obviously, nobody gets everything, and certainly senior citizens who have lived through many wars, depressions, recessions, sickness and everything else realize that nobody gets everything. But there are certain overall programs, such as the home delivered meals program, such as the outreach to the homebound, such as the programming, the recreation program that we do here at the center, which are very important and are very necessary to the self-esteem and the well-being of the people whom we serve. The opportunity that they have to do volunteer work and to be a meaningful part of the process here at the center is very important to most of them. People perceive themselves and are perceived by others in terms of what they do, and particularly for men who retire from active life and don't have a hobby or something else which will take up their time and give them a sense that they are contributing something to the world, can be a very depressing kind of state of mind. And so we provide here a forum for participation if they want to physically help out in the center, if they want to be a part of the political process. We have many members who are on boards of other activities here in the township. We have a member who is vice president of the adult and continuing education team over at the high school. That's part of it. The other part of it was to try to help raise the consciousness of the community as it refers to senior citizens, to older people in general. It's a real myth and a fallacy that we're all sitting in a corner in a rocking chair waiting for the end to come and that we want things to be done. This give me, buy me, get me, take me syndrome is really a pipe dream. This is a very active and involved group. Many of our seniors in their early 60s are healthy. They're certainly well able to participate and to get out into the community and do really important things. And it's important that the community understand that. Of course, we have an older, frailer constituency with the lifespan growing now to well into the 90s. It's true that there are many people who require other kinds of services, and we're here to provide those as well. But you would be amazed at how long in life. We have active volunteers in their 80s and into their 90s, and one of the things that we see is that the more active you are and the more interested you are, the healthier you are and the better your quality of life is. So we plan constantly ahead. You know, there's this old joke about I don't buy green bananas. It doesn't really work. We're planning ahead for programming and activities well into 1991, and it's exciting just to work with the group and for everyone to have so many nice things to look forward to. We've been very fortunate. We've had so much support from the administration, from the township, the family here, of people who work within the township. Without that, we could never have accomplished what we have accomplished, and most of the credit, of course, goes to the seniors themselves and what they've done.
The 15th Annual Village Fair will be held this weekend on Saturday from 10 to 5. Admission is free and includes music by the Molasses Hill Band and entrance to the East Brunswick Museum, which benefits from the proceeds of the fair. There's always lots of food and a street full of arts and crafts and antiques. To get to the fair, take Old Bridge Turnpike to the Historic District in East Brunswick. That's the 15th Annual Village Fair at the East Brunswick Museum on Cosman Street, Saturday, October 6th from 10 to 5. Win a compact disc player, VCR, microwave oven, or hundreds of other prizes next Friday night. That's at the East Brunswick Friends of the Library's 8th Annual Best Ever Chinese Auction. This auction, which benefits the East Brunswick Public Library, will be held on October 12th in the East Brunswick High School cafeteria on Cranberry Road. Doors open at 6:30 and the auction begins at 8. Admission tickets can be purchased for $3 at the library now or at the door. A multitude of high-quality door prizes, free coffee and refreshments await.
Hi, I'm Peggy Ballister-Howells, and we're here in my backyard, and I'm sitting in front of the tomato plants. They look a little strange right now because they're covered with a sheet, and that actually is there for a purpose. In this time of year, when the weather is sort of questionable, you can extend the life expectancy of your tomatoes by several weeks. All you have to do is be aware of when the temperatures are going to drop in the evening, and if you cover them with a sheet, you can protect them from a light frost. And if that happens, there may be several weeks before we get the next frost. And if you can get a couple more weeks, you have just a few more vine-ripened tomatoes. Now, you do have to take the sheet off in the morning, so I'm going to do that right now. And underneath, you can see there's still a few tomatoes on these plants. Make sure that you do cover them pretty thoroughly so that the frost doesn't touch them. There's a little red one here and a few green ones. And I often get asked, what do you do with these tomatoes? You don't want to just throw them on the compost pile. That's sort of disappointing. And you can eat them green. You can slice them up and fry them and make relish out of them. There's a whole bunch of different methods. But I'm going to show you something that you can do to try and have some nice garden ripened tomatoes a little later on in the year. We'll start with these plum tomatoes over here. You can see there's some green ones and some that are pretty much well on their way. You can just ripen these up inside. Shouldn't be any trouble, but these, for example, they don't look like there's too much hope for these. So what you want to do is pick these off, and you'd want to get 3 or 4 that are about the same size and about the same degree of ripeness. Take these 3, and you want to wrap them individually. And the reason that you want to do that is that they will cause each other to ripen, and you want them all to ripen at about the same time. So you put them in here to protect them, and this way you can check them separately. And you put them in a paper bag. Now, the ones that are the largest and may have a small hint of color will be the ones that will ripen up first. And you want to store them in a cool place, like the basement, and check them. Now, one of the things about tomatoes is that as they ripen, they will emit ethylene, and that will cause the other ones to ripen. So you don't want to encourage them to ripen too fast. And also, if you have any rot or disease showing up on them, they will also cause the other ones to rot. So we're going to wrap them individually like this. And put them in this paper bag. They do not need sunlight, which is what most people think, that you have to put them on a sunny windowsill. That's not correct. This way, in a cool place, they will ripen slowly over time. And you can check them every few days, or as they get closer to ripeness, maybe every day. And then you can pull them out and, say in November, maybe for Thanksgiving, you can serve garden tomatoes with your turkey. Okay, we'll see you here next week in my backyard.
Hello, and welcome to Consumer Aware. I'm Adrienne Eisner, Director of the East Brunswick Consumer Affairs Office. If you are purchasing a new car, you should be aware that post-manufacture rust-proofing is commonly promoted and sold by automobile sales personnel, very often at an inflated price, as a way to increase the dealer's profit margin on a car sale. Although a dealer's cost is reported to be in the neighborhood of $40, rust-proofing can add $200 or more to the price tag of a new car. Sales personnel frequently tell prospective buyers that the application of the rust-proofing is desirable because it protects the car from corrosion and also enhances the resale value. Many times, the consumer may not even be aware that he is purchasing the aftermarket rust-proofing, which seems to get thrown in with a multitude of other dealer add-ons. Consumers should be aware that in some instances, the manufacturer may have already applied the rust protection with its own warranties and may even recommend against another application post-manufacture. In some cases, damage may result from a dealer's misapplication, increasing the likelihood of corrosion and thereby voiding a consumer's warranty protection of affected systems. When looking for a new automobile, consumers should look carefully at the list of features and equipment that is posted on the window of the vehicle. Determine what options are added by the dealer. If rust-proofing is an add-on made by the dealer, discuss the process used to install the rust-proofing and review any warranties available. Possible loss of warranty protection and potential for increased likelihood of corrosion is important information which a car buyer ought to have available for consideration when the salesperson is promoting rust-proofing's desirability. If you have any further questions about the purchase of a new car, please contact us at the East Brunswick Consumer Affairs Office. We are located in the municipal building, and we are open from Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. The telephone number is 390-6954. Thank you for joining me on Consumer Aware. See you again next time.
At Monday night's council agenda meeting, the topic of discussion was focused on the Edgeboro Disposal Incorporated landfill. Council members were annoyed that state and county officials did not consult with them before they planned to expand the 315-acre landfill. Only last week, the Department of Environmental Protection declared that the landfill be shut down as of December 1991. This decision was reached because of the environmental concerns it had to the township. The DEP also proposed opening Edgeboro 2, a 245-acre area adjacent to the original site. The council's main concern was that the officials did not think about the residents in their decision to expand the landfill. With the township receiving over $3 million annually in host community benefits, the council suggested that some monies be used to monitor the landfill on a daily basis. Furthermore, the council told township administrators to be well informed for a public hearing at Middlesex County College in Edison on November 13th. The focus of the hearing will be expansion plans for the proposed Edgeboro 2.
This month's edition of The Arts offers tours of the exhibits at the Barron Arts Center and at the Zimmerle Art Museum. Here's a preview.
When we hear of the Japanese influence in America, we think of cars and consumer goods. But one of Japan's first and lasting contributions to America was in the arts. A major traveling exhibition, Japanisma Comes to America, the Japanese Impact on the Graphic Arts, is on display at the Jane Voorhees Zimmerle Art Museum, located on the Old Queens campus at Rutgers, the State University of New Jersey. Japanisme is a 19th century French term which refers to the Western enthusiasm for and influence by things Japanese, and is most often associated with 19th century European art. After more than 2 centuries of self-imposed isolation, Japan became an international force in the arts with Matthew Perry's opening of Japan to the West in 1854. Of primary importance to the Japanese impact on American graphic arts was the availability in large numbers of ukiyo-e woodblock prints, which were purchased by Europeans and Americans at the end of the 19th century. Now, drawn from the collections of private individuals and public institutions, this exhibition outlines the first 50 years of cultural interchange between Japan and the United States, and between the United States and Europe, which led to an assimilation of Japanese aesthetics by American artists. Organized by the Zimmerli Art Museum's International Center for Japanisme, and guest curated by Dr. Julia Meach with the curatorial involvement of Dr. Gabriel Weisberg, this exhibition includes approximately 150 works of art. Also currently on display at the Zimmerli is the exhibition entitled Echizen Washi, the art of traditional Japanese handmade paper. More than 100 samples of old and new papers dating back 130 years will be on display, revealing the rich variety of delicate, natural textures and elegant designs long associated with and unique to Echizen Washi.
The Arts is produced by the Middlesex County Cultural and Heritage Commission at Piscataway Community Television Center. For more on the Japanese exhibit, watch Channel 8 Wednesday night at 8. That's all for this week. Thanks for watching.